The clatter of plates and the hiss of frying pans filled the air of the bustling restaurant kitchen. Steam rose in thick clouds, the smell of garlic butter mixing with grilled meat. Orders were flying in and every worker was moving fast. At the very back, standing at the sink with sleeves rolled up and apron stained from a long day, was James Carter, a 32-year-old single dad. His arms ached from scrubbing pans, his hands were raw from detergent, but he kept working. He was quiet, steady, dependable, the kind of man who never complained. But tonight his body was running on fumes. James hadn't had an easy life. Just 2 years earlier his world had shattered when his wife, Emily, died suddenly after a short illness. Overnight he was left alone to raise their daughter Lily. She was just 6 at the time. Since then James had done everything he could to make sure Lily felt loved and safe. Every morning he woke up early to pack her lunch, braid her hair, and walk her to school before heading to work. At night, no matter how tired he was, he sat with her, helped with homework, and listened as she talked about her day. Money was always tight. Rent, groceries, school supplies, it all piled up. To keep up, James picked up every extra shift he could at the restaurant. Dishwashing wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. He often worked 14-hour days, sacrificing rest for his daughter's future. And Lily was his reason for pushing forward. She often left him little drawings, smiling suns, stick figures holding hands, hearts with the words, "Me plus Daddy." He kept them tucked in his wallet, pulling them out when exhaustion threatened to overwhelm him. That night, the dinner rush hit harder than usual. Plates piled high, pans stacked faster than he could wash, silverware clattering into bins. James's coworkers yelled orders, rushing around him. "Faster, James, we need those pans back," shouted one of the cooks. He nodded weakly, forcing his body to keep moving. His arms were heavy, his vision blurry. He hadn't eaten much all day, he couldn't afford to take breaks. Every moment mattered. But something wasn't right. His chest tightened, his breathing grew shallow. His hands trembled as he lifted another greasy pan. He ignored it, telling himself he just needed to push through another hour. Just one more rush. Then it happened. The pan slipped from his grip, crashing loudly against the floor. The kitchen froze at the sound. James staggered, clutching his chest. His knees buckled, and before anyone could catch him, he collapsed onto the wet tiles. "James!" one of the servers screamed. Workers dropped what they were doing, rushing toward him. The busy kitchen that seconds ago had been full of noise was suddenly silent, except for the faint sound of James's labored breathing. I can't leave Lily," he whispered faintly, his voice trembling as his eyes rolled back. The kitchen door slammed open, and in walked Mr. Harris, the restaurant's owner. He was a tall man in his 50s, sharp-eyed, and known for being strict. Employees often whispered that he cared more about profits than people. When he saw James on the ground, the room braced for him to bark orders. But instead, something shifted in his face, shock, concern, and something deeper. "Clear the way," Mr. Harris shouted, kneeling beside James. He lifted his head gently, steadying his shoulder. "Stay with me, son. Help is on the way." For the first time, the staff saw a side of their boss they had never witnessed before. As the paramedics were called, Mr. Harris found himself staring at James, and an old memory came flooding back. Years ago, when he was younger, his own father had collapsed in a factory from exhaustion. No one helped him. No boss stepped in. His father had worked himself into an early grave, leaving behind a struggling family. Looking at James now, another father, another man sacrificing everything for his child, Mr. Harris felt the same sting of regret he had carried for years. He wouldn't let history repeat itself. Not this time. When the paramedics arrived and stabilized James, Mr. Harris turned to his staff. His voice was firm but different, gentler, more human. "James isn't coming back here to collapse again. Starting now, I'll cover his medical bills. His hours will be reduced and he'll still get paid enough to care for his daughter. He needs to rest and we're going to make sure he does." The room went silent. Cooks, servers, and dishwashers exchanged stunned glances. This was the same man who used to scold them for wasting time, now promising to pay for someone's medical care? "Sir, are you serious?" one of the cooks asked hesitantly. Mr. Harris nodded. "He's given everything he has to this place. Now it's my turn to give something back." Later that evening, James lay in a hospital bed, pale but stable. Beside him sat his daughter, Lily, clutching one of her drawings. "Daddy, please don't leave me," she whispered, her little voice breaking. James pulled her close, tears sliding down his cheeks. "I'm not going anywhere, sweetheart. I promise." Just then Mr. Harris entered the room. He placed an envelope on the table. Inside was a handwritten note. Your job is safe. Your bills are covered. Take time to heal, for Lily. James stared in disbelief. Why are you doing this? He asked softly. Mr. Harris's voice cracked. Because I forgot what mattered most. You reminded me tonight. Over the next few weeks, James recovered at home. For the first time in years, he had time to rest, to cook meals with Lily, to read her bedtime stories without rushing off to bed himself. The staff at the restaurant also changed. Inspired by what they had seen, they treated one another with more kindness, more patience. They realized that behind every tired face was a story they didn't know. And Mr. Harris? He became a different man. He checked in on his employees, asked about their families, and even started offering paid sick days, something he had resisted for years. Behind every worker is a life, a family, a struggle we may never see. James's collapse wasn't just a warning sign of exhaustion, it was a lesson for everyone watching. No profit, no business, no ambition should come at the cost of a human life. And sometimes, it takes a moment of crisis to remind us that compassion is more valuable than anything money can buy. One single dad's struggle touched an entire workplace, reminding them all that kindness, respect, and humanity should always come first. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Kindness Stories. Together, let's keep spreading kindness, one story